All right, y'all. We've been doing 2 and 3 chapters at a time sometimes with this book, Black Beauty. But this chapter 9 looks like it's a very long chapter, so it will probably be all on its own. I'm not sure what this picture is, but it says A Wonderful Name. And they're putting a sign on Black Beauty's stall, it looks like. Let's see what happens in chapter 9, called A Stormy Day. After I had been in my new home for a little while, my master decided to give me a proper name. He looked at me very carefully and stroked my head. After a short time, he called John and James and asked them what they thought of the name, Black Beauty. Black Beauty? Why, yes, I think that's a very good name, and it certainly fits him, said John. It made me feel proud and very grown up to have such a wonderful name and such a fine home. Not long after I was given my name, my master needed to take a long business trip. I was to pull the dog cart, and John went with our master. I always liked the dog cart because it was so light and the high wheels ran along so smoothly. There had been a great deal of rain, and now the wind was very strong, and the dry leaves blew across the road. We went along at a very good pace until we came to the wooden bridge. The man at the gate of the bridge said the river was rising fast. He feared it would be a rough night. Many of the meadows were already under water, and in one low part of the road, the water was halfway up to my knees. The master drove gently and was very careful. When we got to town, I had a good rest. The master's business took a long time, so we did not start for home until late in the afternoon. By this time, the wind was very strong, and I heard the master say to John that he had never been out in such a storm. I'm going to take you back about a half a page. There's the picture of the river is rising. What I don't know is, what is the dog cart? I hope they explain that to us. I wish we were out of these woods, said my master. Yes, sir, said John. It would be dangerous if one of those branches came down on us. The words were scarcely out of his mouth when there was a groan and a crack and a splitting sound. Crashing down among the other trees came an oak which had been torn up by the roots. It fell right across the road just in front of us. I was frightened. I stood still and trembled, but I did not turn around or run the other way. That was a close call, said my master. What shall we do now? John answered that since we couldn't drive around or over the tree, we should go back to the wooden bridge. So here's a picture of the tree crashing down, so they can't keep going down the road. I'm going to show you this picture. So John suggested that they go back to the wooden bridge, but the title of this picture says, Something is wrong with the bridge. We went back. By the time we got to the bridge, it was nearly dark. We could see that the bridge was already over the middle. We could see that the water was already over the middle of the bridge. My master knew that this sometimes happened during floods, so he did not stop. We were going along at a good pace, but the second my feet touched the first part of the bridge, I knew something was wrong. I stopped and would not go on ahead. Go on, Beauty, said my master. He gave me a touch with the whip, but I refused to move. He gave me a sharp cut, but I still did not move. There must be something wrong, sir, said John, and he jumped out of the cart and came over to me. He tried to lead me forward. Come on, Beauty. What's the matter? He asked. Of course, I could not tell him, but I did know that the bridge was not safe. Just then, the man at the gate to the bridge ran out and waved a torch at us. Ho, ho, ho! Stop! Don't go any further, he shouted. What's the matter? Shouted my master. The bridge is broken in the middle, and part of it has been washed away. If you try to cross it, you'll land in the river, answered the gatekeeper. Thank God, said my master. You, Beauty, said John as he took the bridle and gently turned me around. The sun had set a long time ago, and the wind seemed to have calmed down. It grew darker and darker. The woods had an eerie stillness. I trotted along quietly, the wheels hardly making a sound on the soft dirt road. Master and John spoke in quiet voices. All right, I'm going to have to take a break because I think Papa's locked outside. Hold on.